So it is 6 o'clock, so we can go ahead and get started. So just a little introduction before we get started and some housekeeping. Welcome to our LA County Library virtual event. It's a conversation with Mujeres Market. I'm Caroline Cheng, the Arts Program Manager at LA County Library, and I'll be your moderator. And also joining us is David Johnson, our Adult Services Librarian at LA County Library as well. In today's program, we will be talking to the founders of Mujeres Market about starting their own businesses and some tips when thinking about starting your own online business. If you have any questions during the program, please share them with us on the right-hand side of your screen in the Q&A section. At the end of the presentation, there will be some time for a Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer all the questions that you typed. If you're having any technical difficulties or other comments or issues, you can write them in the comment section, and just make sure when you're writing those comments you set it to all panelists so that everybody on this panel gets it. We're also recording this presentation today, and we'll be sharing the recording with all the participants today with a YouTube link. In addition, last week we had the first program in this series with a presentation from the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. And he presented really great information about online platforms, permits, taxes, licenses, all that kind of stuff to consider when you're starting an online business, including a lot of great resources that their department and the library has for business owners. So we have a recording of that presentation as well, and so we'll send out that link to everybody here who participated today as well. So you can have all the kind of resources together. So we can get started. It's my pleasure to introduce Gloria Lucas and Monica Zamora from Mujeres Market, which is a community-based pop-up market featuring women of color and queer and transgender creators and artists of color. Their goal is to celebrate the resiliency, talent, and hustle that exists in our communities. The first Mujeres Market was in Los Angeles back in 2017 and has since been featured in different cities in Southern California. And led by this incredible team of two, Mujeres Market is a project of love and community building. So welcome. I know you two are extremely busy people, so I just wanted to thank you for your time in prepping and being with us here today. To start off, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and maybe tell us a little bit more about your businesses and your project.
Hi, I'm Monica Zamora. I'm the Chief Officer with our communication and all kinds of stuff. Fighting for several years now for small businesses. So I do have some finesse and some expertise on different kinds of things. I'm a graduate from Marymount University in sociology with a specialty in gender and sexuality, as well as a minor in English language and literature. So I can serve you a little.
Seems like we lost Moni. I'll give her a few minutes and I could jump in the meantime. So I'm Gloria Lucas, pronouns she and her. I also run.
I'm getting frozen here.
Hey, Moni, can you hear us? Okay, I'm going to give her a few more minutes. So I also run Nalgona Positivity Pride, which is how Mujeres Market came to be. So I started MPP about 6 years ago, and part of what I do is sell merchandise that also focuses on body image, eating disorders awareness, as well as indigeneity. And so from that came Mujeres Market, and we could talk more about that.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to try my best here because technology is just so fussy. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys heard, I was just basically giving myself a basic intro that I've been managing a few businesses, helping to manage a few different kinds of small businesses for many years now. I'm a graduate from Pratt University, and I've been from 2019, early 2018, and joined in around the third Mujeres Market, COO of Mujeres Market, as we know it today.
Great. And so I guess why don't we talk a little bit more about, I guess, the inspiration around starting Mujeres Market and how its evolution over time?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I started this in-person group for women of color entrepreneurs, and we were meeting at a friend's living room in East Los Angeles, and I just gathered a few other small business owners and creatives, and in this one of these meetings, we discussed how there weren't a lot of opportunities at that time for us to sell in person. And then that's when I said, well, we need to make our own. And we came up with Mujeres Market. And we did our first one in El Sereno at Eastside Cafe, which is an autonomous community space. And so that is how it started. It was just an idea that we had, a way that we could support each other and create our own opportunities and highlight our work.
And can you talk about a little bit about where you are now from that very?
And then exactly where we try to expand what Mujeres Market is and means a little bit in the last couple of years. Both in terms of how it looks and part of it. We've kind of expanded it to include more of our marginalized friends, family, and community. We've definitely adapted Eastside Cafe so much. It's an amazing autonomous space in Osano, which is in Northeast Los Angeles. But it was getting very, very snug in there. So now it's a matter of us finding somewhere that is a good place, a fun place, that has the capacity to handle how big the market can get sometimes. And super happy, super great. Very hoping to expand more new people. That's always the best, is finding new creators, new avenues of meeting people, knowing people, and having like a whole network of whatever you need, we can find a way to get to your network.
Awesome. And can you tell a story of somehow what you consider your major successes in running your businesses? Either ones that you two look after, and kind of what led up to those successes.
Yeah, I feel that we have been successful, obviously, before COVID in expanding to new areas. So we've done multiple Mujeres Markets in LA County, but we also expanded to the Inland Empire. We expanded to Orange County, and we even hosted one in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And our goals this year was to expand to Portland and Sacramento and Arizona. However, we've had to shift gears into a new direction. And so I think that that's been one of our successes, is our ability to adapt and be resilient. And more importantly, for myself, I would say the biggest most important thing that has come out of Mujeres Market and my other business, right, is the community we have been able to create. I came from being a lonely entrepreneur, not knowing what I was doing, not knowing anybody else like me, to now having this rich community that networks and friendships develop out of it. So that has been the most exciting thing about Mujeres Market.
And then I guess alternately, would you mind sharing maybe something that would be considered a failure or a huge challenge you might have had, and what you kind of learned from it or how you like came over it?
Like every time, every single Mujeres Market, there's like a new. I just wanted to say that every single market that we've done has been a challenge. It has its own new challenges that we have to figure out. Which is stressful in that moment, but also cool because we've just learned how to deal with it, or like what to look for the next time. It's every single time. Even when we had a plethora of new issues and problem-solving skills are extremely integral to the marketplace, just having in general. And with us being two people, like, it's just madness. And a lot of navigating things that you never really had to think about before.
Gloria, did you have any other kind of challenges or anything else to add?
Yeah, like Monica said, each new location, or for instance, going virtually, is working with different applications, the administrative piece of it, right? So it's a lot of behind the scenes. Maybe one thing that if I could go back, it would be to have started our Instagram, our Mujeres Market Instagram, since day one, because we would have had a wider reach on social media. But again, it's like not knowing what we're doing, and because there aren't really any other groups doing the same exact thing we're doing. So we just kind of had to learn along the way, and figure out like what are the appropriate applications that we could use, or computer programs to help us gather all this information. And then, you know, the physical piece of it. Like I remember one Mujeres Market, we were having a bee problem, like, what, right?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Oh my God, they kept coming back. They just would not leave. You know, rain has been an issue too for outdoor Mujeres Market. We have had, for instance, we've done a Mujeres Market at the Hollywood Farmers Market. So they give us a little section. And for those that don't know, the Hollywood Farmers Market, I believe, is the biggest farmers market in Southern California. And so they give us a little section. And, you know, having to work in that area, we got a DJ to help people know that we're here. We got decorations that we put up to make the area look much more vibrant and welcome people to stop by. So again, it's each location, and now with the virtual Mujeres Market, comes with its own challenges.
I'm curious, can you talk about like what online challenges are that you're having? Like, I'm wondering what a virtual marketplace is like, and kind of what kind of hurdles there might be.
So yeah, we've had two virtual Mujeres Market, and the way it works is that through our feed and our stories, we feature vendors. So vendors that are handmade or independently made items, and so, or repurposed items. And so we tag them, and we encourage our vendors to have exclusive sales or features for our virtual Mujeres Market. This last one we did, we had Jessica Salgado, who is a poet in Los Angeles, do live spoken word. We also had one of our DJs who works with us in our in-person Mujeres Market do a live set. That was a lot of fun. And we also do live Q&As with some of our vendors to help people, to help guide people to their stores. And so I think looking at the progression of our first Mujeres Market to the second one virtually, it's always been about how do we get more traffic in our page? How do we work with vendors so that they have crisp, nice images to be enticing, right? And I think just spreading the word, right? And knowing how to work Instagram with this algorithm, because it keeps changing all the time. right? And so yeah, so that's kind of been our growth from the first one to the second one is how we work with the photos and also communicate with our vendors. Because now then, since it's all virtual, how do we keep everything on track?
Great. Um, so can you talk about, I guess it's a good segue to talk about kind of what qualities you might find to be essential for success in this field as you work with all of the vendors and kind of giving them tips like having nice photos, like what are some of the essential qualities one should have?
So I would say, first off, is never stop learning. Don't get comfortable in one place. It's you have trends keep happening, social media keeps changing. COVID now has made businesses now need to be on top of their online stores, right? It's left us with no other option. And so the quality would be, again, to keep learning and keep trying new things and obviously sticking to what works. It's also being resilient, right? Because being a small business owner, like honestly, you're carrying many balls at, at one time. So it's just trying your best to, be flexible. And I would also say you have to be 100% dedicated to it because it's a lot of hard work. And so it's not something that you could just put it on the shelf and think about it some other times. Like, no, you have to be on top of your everything, So, and while at it, have fun too, right? Because if it's just work, you might burn out or lose the joy out of it. So always try to incorporate some happiness, some good times as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, those are really good qualities, I think, to have. Like, it even sounds like the way you created your business also has having that flexibility and resilience, just keep going, even with all the challenges. Like, it really is amazing. And then can you talk about kind of the importance of kind of the communities that you work with representing or supporting women of color and queer and transgender artists and entrepreneurs of color as well? Why it's important to be doing that and kind of, the importance of building that community together.
So, I think the important part about Mujeres Market and what really sets us apart from some other marketplaces and, other gatherings is the very intense, in a good way, sense of community and community building that happens here. We've said it so many times, it's difficult to explain the feeling and the sensation of being at Mujeres Market. It's such a distinct, magical, like happy feeling when you're there that we have not yet been able to put into words. It's just something in the air, right? I think it's like a combination of everybody's excited, everybody's happy to be there, and all of our creators have worked so hard. And every single time, without fail, we get like comments and stories where the creators and they're working until 4 in the day of a marketplace. And so in terms of like the kind of community that we're building, it's important for us to kind of first and foremost to kind of stay in our lane, right? As we both identify as cisgendered, relatively hetero women. But, it's not enough anymore to kind of just stick with the status quo, right? We don't want to do that. We want to expand and open opportunities. Our motto is creating opportunities for ourselves. So let's make sure that includes all of our community. And then there's this super cheesy, but honestly super accurate phrase that's been popular the last year or two is here, not my sisters, not just my sisters, right? So here for all presentations of being a femme, identifying as like whatever that is, whatever that is. but also the importance of, understanding like the struggles of being a queer person, being a non-binary person, being a trans person. It's difficult. It's a challenge. The last thing we want to do is contribute to that. We want to make it easier. So let's make it easier together for each other, basically.
And I think for us, it's important that our goal be for marginalized communities to have abundance, right? Might be community abundance, might be financial abundance, might be emotional abundance. And so we try to do that with Mujeres Market, which is why we prioritize people, not only, Black, Indigenous people of color, but also femmes, also trans folks, also two-spirit people. And we know that being financially sustainable is important for these communities and can lead to people having better health, having housing, having the list goes on, right? So we could support marginalized communities doing that, then I think that we're achieving our goal. And, we just didn't come into this just wanting to create a market. And that's that. Like, no, our heartstrings are attached to the outcomes that we want out of Mujeres Market.
Absolutely. There's a lot of ourselves that goes into it, willingly and unwillingly at times. But it's, we refer to her often as like our daughter because she does have a soul. She is very much so alive, and we need to nurture that. And by doing that, or we do that through like the community building and all the folks that we work with. So yeah, all of that times 10.
And another we try to be as intentional as possible. For instance, me coming from the background of dealing with fat positivity and eating disorder awareness, like that's my background. And so when we have vendors that sell clothing, one of the questions we ask them is, do you have plus size clothing? Or is your jewelry friendly for folks in larger bodies? Right. And we even tell them, like, we encourage you to go up to sizes at least up to 5XL. Right. So even things like that. And we're also very careful about cultural appropriation, because the last thing we want to do is our market be hurtful by the vendors that we select. And so that's another thing that, me and Monica do our best to educate our audience and our vendors about that.
Right.
Yeah, and just add on to that, furthermore, again, part of the, troubles and triumphs of finding the right space for Mujeres Market are ethically based in community. They need to be affordable for us, obviously. And we also think of accessibility physically in our spaces. So spaces can accommodate wheelchair access, can accommodate larger bodies, arrange the table. Every once in a while we slip up, it happens, but generally we try to make it so that all the tables are arranged in a way that anybody could pass through. Those things we have to think about, foods and drinks we're offering, omnivorous as well as vegan options for food to make sure to cover everyone's bases. We've really only been able to have, I think, alcohol once or twice. No, we had it. I think we can have it at Riverside, right, Gloria? But even that, we make there's way more to drink that's like non-alcoholic, and there's pressure to do so. So we have to think about our marketplace from like the very bottom all the way to the top, not just who's coming and what they're bringing, but also what are we doing? What does the space have? What is the space offering? So yeah, we kind of make sure to try to make it as nice and friendly and welcoming to everyone as is possible.
Great. Yeah, that's really cool. I think the way you approach your business is incredibly thoughtful from every detail to make sure that it's accessible, equitable, and inclusive. And I think it also testament to like that owning a business really means you're thinking about a lot of different details all at once. It's a lot of hard work. I think we can maybe transition to talking about kind of some tips you have for entrepreneurs, if that works. And I can pull up the slides that you sent me.
Yeah. We just put something together really quick with things that we see are perpetually happening and perpetually relevant for different folks, and often even we too sometimes do not take our own advice, a learning process. So we definitely have a million more things, but these are just some key things, especially during a pandemic when we're all completely online. There's a lot to navigate, and there are a lot of buttons, and it's very overwhelming, even for us online all day, every day.
Do you want to funny? So we had three main takeaways that we wanted folks to leave with, and one of them is the importance of just getting started. Storytelling is key, and asking for help is critical in starting and managing your own small business. You might go into the next slide. You know, it's important to just get started, and that you could learn along the way. Because if I were still waiting, if I were still waiting to learn more about small business, how to manage it, like I wouldn't.
It just wouldn't be done.
No.
Also, like part of our most recent virtual, we had some interviews on our Instagram Live with some vendors. Everyone's number one advice, no matter what they made, including our own advice, was just get started. Like, if you want to make it perfect and beautiful and wonderful, and of course, we all want to do that. We're not saying not to do that. We're just saying just get started, and then, you know, you'll develop it as you go. But if you don't get started, you're never going to get it going. So we cannot emphasize that enough. Just get started.
Also, having a separate business Instagram account is key. Many times some of our vendors use their personal and business, and it's messy. And you want to make yourself be clear, right? Because the whole purpose of having your business is to bring some revenue, right? And so please do have an Instagram. Not to mention the business Instagram features are helpful in running your business.
Right, and this is beyond Instagram. If you're not on Instagram yet, although we do highly recommend that Instagram be your primary mode at this point. Instagram is the new mall, right, for online shopping. But you can have a business page on Instagram, on Facebook, I think on Twitter. I don't know if Tumblr is relevant anymore, but I believe you would have business options for that. So utilize them, not just to make your online presence cleaner, but also to utilize all of those tools. During our tips and trips, we're going to be looking through things mostly through Instagram, as that's our primary mode of doing business and all the other things that go into marketplace and into the small business medical activity pride. There are lots of tools in there that you can use. All of your insights, you can use them to figure out when is your best time to post, how many people you have coming through, what kind of people you have coming through, and utilize that to your advantage with what you're making and what you're trying to do with your business.
And the importance of storytelling. So people want to feel good when they buy something, and people also want to connect with you. And so it's important to create your story in a way that is heartwarming, that makes you stand out from your competitors, and know that, again, people want to connect with you.
Right. So people, especially if they want to buy from small business, want them to continue to buy from small business, remember that it's not just your website or on your table that's being sold. It's your storytelling, who you are and what you do and what your business is about all matter and are also part of, maintaining your business, just like making sure that you're upfront and clear and, having fun with what you're doing, and you want other people to know that and see it.
Please make sure your website is user-friendly and that it's easy to buy from. I mean, it should just be at the landing page, quick and easy. And also your Instagram bio, right? Especially if you have a link tree or whatever it is, you just want to make it as easy as possible for a potential buyer, right? And so, again, the shortest amount of time to click through what is your objective with your small business.
Yes, and then just like kind of think of that in terms of if you've ever been attacked by like Instagram or Facebook ads. If you click on one of those ads, they take you immediately to the purchase page. It's usually 2-3 clicks max to get you to check out. That's the ideal, right? It works on you. It's going to work on other people as well.
And now that there are less in-person pop-ups, everything has gone, for the most part, virtual, and we have seen an increase in online sales since COVID and quarantine. So photography is of utmost importance in gaining sales and visibility.
We cannot emphasize this enough. It's definitely rough out there. Let's not make it harder. You want photos that are beautiful, they are pleasing to look at, they, match what you want to convey with your storytelling, right? They should be crisp, they should be clear, there shouldn't be anything fuzzy, there shouldn't be anything dark, you don't really want anything grayed out. Pictures right now are like your real estate, right? So not prime real estate or not, right, is essentially what it comes down to. So you need to have beautiful pictures, and that's not just on your Instagram, that's on your Instagram, Facebook, website, wherever you have a digital presence. Or if you print out photos and you take them to those two, make sure that they are high quality, beautiful photos where people look at them, you look at them and you're like, I want to buy that. Or you're like, I don't know what it is about this photo that I like, I want to buy something in it. That's the objective. That's how you know you've done something right. Yeah, on photos. That's it.
And being completely transparent myself, and just so people know, every small business owner and creatives, like, we're all a hot mess, okay? But for me, it's not till quarantine that I was able to slow down and be intentional about my product photography. And let me tell you, I have broke records already of how much, like myself, just by simply changing and upgrading my product photography. So we cannot tell you how important it is. And also with our virtual Mujeres Market, our vendors that we feature that have crispy, as I like to call it, crispy images, right, have had a better turnouts, such as with gaining of followers, traffic, and sales, when they have these clear images. And if right now you're not at a place to invest in a camera, like, look, I suck at, photography. Like, I don't know anything, but I just bought the most friendly, user-friendly camera, and also upgraded my phone. And I just use good filters that help me highlight the product that I'm trying to sell. And so one app that I use, and maybe Moni, you could share the one that you like to use that you told me the other day, is Lumi. So that's like my top favorite app for product photography.
Right, and coming back also, reminding everybody to just get started. I know this is a lot of information, a lot of it's going to be daunting, but you can do it. If you have the financial ability to buy a nicer camera, do it, and you have the ability to take good photos with a nicer camera, do it. If you don't, you can use your phone. I have taken a million product photos that turned out some of the best sales on my iPhone, different versions of my iPhone. Then I usually I have a couple different apps for cleaning up photos. For the most part, I use Snapseed. It's a free app. I highly recommend it. We have another vendor who, up until a couple weeks ago, was using her iPhone 6 to take all of her product photography, and she consistently turns in some of the best photos we have ever received. And she's also just using her phone and some free apps. I believe that she said that Visco is her favorite, VSCO. So, I mean, you can do it if you feel like you really, really like, you're trying your best working out, ask for help. Ask for help, ask a friend, ask a family member, be like, I really need help. Can you help me take photos? Or like, don't be afraid to ask for help. You need to be okay with asking for help.
Next slide. Also, utilizing your Instagram highlights, definitely have a commonly asked questions. For instance, that could be part of your highlights. It could be your upcoming events or new items on the store, or getting to know the business story and business owner are things that you should include in your Instagram highlights, because anybody at any point can go through them. And it's a way for your clients to connect with you.
It's also a great way to organize some items that you have that are very common, that you repeatedly make. For example, if you have a food business, you can use it to show off your menu, either with photos or just with really nice, like, typed up menus that you have, right? If you work in accessories, you can have a highlight for earrings and a highlight for, I don't know, whatever, bracelets, right? So yeah, the highlights are a great way of, like, people regularly being able to see what you do and what you can make, can buy from you if they don't really want to go to the feed, or if you change things up a lot. So definitely the highlights are great for that, in addition to, as Glenn said, pointing out any upcoming events you do. Our next piece here is to respond to questions and comments to the best of your abilities on Instagram, Facebook, all of your socials and your emails. We struggle with this to this day. So, just try your best. That's all you can really ask, and just make sure if it's like something super, super important that you get to that.
Make sure that your items on your website have descriptions. Right? Many times we just see the item and we're like, oh, what it, how big is it? What's the length? What was the inspiration behind this item? The measurements, care instructions, just, again, take the opportunity to even tell a little story within your item. It brings up the engagement levels and increases the chances of somebody buying something from you.
This is also a great opportunity to open up how accessible you make your page and presence online. Your item descriptions are the perfect place to let people know if they have allergies to jewelry, allergies to food, you can put all the ingredients there. If you're selling maybe something more homeopathic, sprays or deodorants or creams, you can write there in full detail all the ingredients and all the other stuff there, just so people know what they're purchasing is safe for them to use if they have any allergies or concerns about anything. Or, different kinds of, if they're vegan, you want to make sure to put that your item is vegan or that it's this is definitely something that a lot of people forget to include. And even if you're using, sustainable items or recycled items, some people are still going to have some issues with, what the item underneath is or what the ingredient is. So just make sure that you're trying to be as accessible and thoughtful as possible in your descriptions, in addition to including all of the technical stuff.
Moni, did you say the third app was Snapseed?
Snapseed, yes.
Okay, just somebody.
Sorry, I have like a story over here, so I can't. I'm just now getting some messages.
Oh, okay. Also, persistent on your social media. Like, you don't want to people see tumbleweeds on your Instagram because you're not active, because then it's not enticing, right? It's like you're not on it. There's no love for your business in here. So yeah, post regularly, and that also increases traffic in your page. And know the times in which you have more traffic, because it lets you know via Instagram your busiest hours.
Yes. If anybody wanted to go to the desert, they would go to Joshua Tree, right? This is not what we're having here. Let's make sure that there's at least, we ask you to please try to do at least one feed post and one story post per day, essentially. If you can only do one of those, that's cool too. But don't get overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to do a million of them. Just set a goal for yourself. I'm going to post one photo today of at least one item, and that's good. People definitely will keep following you and keep engaged with you if you consistently post new content every day.
Also, if you're not the type of person that likes to post then and there and would rather schedule your posts, you can use Later. I'm going to put it in the chat box too, which is a program you can use to schedule and see the preview of how it's going to look in your feed. So that's an option as well, where you could plan it out ahead. Also, having a clear Instagram bio, you want to let people know right away what you are about and why it's important also to have your business Instagram, right? So you just want to put in there like what you're selling and then the link. You want to have an actionable term in your Instagram bio so that, again, your potential client can connect with your customer. And recognize that different platforms require different bios. So your website should maybe have the longer version of your story versus on Instagram, you can't. You just have to get to the point.
Furthermore, on that front, since you do have more room on your website bio, again, don't be afraid to ask for help if you need help making it look and sound good, right? I'm sure that there's someone in your community or in your family that can help you make sure that sounds and reads like very well. In Gloria's case, that's my job. I will go over a lot of her writing to make sure that we're making sense to people, right? So it's always good to have at least two pairs of eyes on whatever you're writing. And then for the Instagram bio, make sure that you are giving as much information to contact you and buy your services as possible. Instagram has an area where it lets you add in not just your website, but if you want to add in an email, or if you have a store, you can add a phone number. Make sure to add those in. At the very least, if you don't have a storefront, a lot of people don't, make sure to at least put in what city and state that you're based in so people know where they're like buying from and like what to realistically expect in terms of delivery times, right? So just make sure that you're giving lots of information in a concise way.
Next slide. One of the things that I have found helpful with Nalgona Positivity Pride is having a Google folder where everything's in there. My headshots, my links, my seller's permit, in some cases my W-9 form, right? So everything in one place so that when you're applying, once in-person markets start coming up, like you're prepared and you have everything in one place. And when you're working towards being a feature in a market, you could just send them that link. It's quick and easy and prevents headaches from both parties.
Yeah, so definitely just stay on top of your stuff, stay organized, have one place to get all of your important information whenever you need it.
Early on, get into the habit of collecting testimonials and not being afraid to share that, right? I remember I shared one where one person said, and this really stayed with me because I'm like, I feel that. She said that my T-shirts were the first shirts she wears when she does laundry. So my dad lets me know my shirts are, provide comfort. So, making sure that you're getting these testimonials and that you're utilizing them for your own benefit. And, maximizing your...
Sorry, can I stop you real quick, Gloria? I realized that we missed a line previously, but ties back into collecting testimonials. Make sure to also take advantage of anybody who on Instagram or Facebook shares something that you made, right? You can easily see that. It usually lets you know that they shared it or maybe they tagged you. in it. Whenever you see that, make sure to post something new. So that way, when people are sharing and they're like, ooh, what's this? This is cool. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to see what else they have. You will have a fresh photo there of something new, and there can be like, oh my God, I'm going to get this thing that I saw that my friend shared, but I'm also going to go look at their website because I want to see what else they have since they just posted like new stuff. That's exciting, right? You got to keep it like it's party time on your socials at all times.
And right now, since a lot of small businesses are shipping, maximize your shipping so that people can get more familiar with your brand. One of the things I started doing is I'm shipping my items with compost bags, right? So it's less plastic, and the bag literally says, like, put me in a garden. I will, I will not add more plastic to the world. And also, another thing that I do is on my Etsy orders that I ship, I put 2 flyers, and one of them, it tells the story of me and Nalgona Positivity Pride. And so that's one way that folks can connect with you.
And also on the reverse side of our Nalgona flyers, there's one of our key phrases as part of Nalgona is is it honor or is it support, Gloria?
Honor and pay.
It's honor and pay for the labor of women of color, which is, relevant to us. If that's not relevant to you, I'm sure that you have something else that's like a motto of yours or a phrase that you really like. And that way, people will always keep that flyer with your business information on it because it's cute and it's fun, but also like low key, they're always going to see that and be like, wait, should I go look again just in case I want something new from them? Yes, they do. Yes, they will, right? And, if you can get fancier further down the line, you can get stuff like custom tape with your logo on it or, custom boxes, right, for further down. And for just now, at the very least, make sure if you're wrapping it, you have, nice tissue paper, or maybe you want to put in like a little sticker, anything that shows that you put some time, effort, and thought into that person's package. And then if it really works out for you, the best thing that could happen is somebody gives you an unboxing photo or video because they're so excited and you wrapped it so beautifully. They want to, frame the experience and then post it online. And then guess what happens? Everybody sees it and it gets shared. And then they're like, I want to see what's happening. You always want people to come see your page, whatever reason you can make up. Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier, ask for help. You cannot do everything on your own. I tried that and I burned out. Don't do that. Build that community. Make friends when you go to these markets because trust me, there's always questions that come up or, you want to know the best applications or the other markets. So build that network and that community and because it could get very lonely being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's definitely difficult. It's going to be hard if you haven't started already. If you've already started, then you already know. It's not so much that any individual piece is an extreme challenge. It's rather that you have about 50 pieces floating up here that you kind of have to hold up in order to make your business work. So always remember, it's always going to come back to our top 3, as listed at the beginning of this, which is, just get started. Storytelling is also part of your business, and ask for help. Not enough people ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Nobody's going to be mad that you ask for help. The worst case scenario, somebody's going to say, no, I can't do that right now, or no, I cannot help you right now, right? That's okay. Ask somebody else. No hay pedo, right? We go on. We're going to make it work. We're going. We're adapting. We're making it work. So you have to kind of just be ready to go with whatever comes your way.
And when I get asked what is one of my tips that I give for people in starting their businesses is if you're not on top of your bookkeeping, hire a bookkeeper. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much easier I could sleep at night because I have a bookkeeper now. But do invest in that. I mean, there's things in your business that are worth investing. And for me, that is a bookkeeper because me and numbers, even though I'm running a business, that I'm going to be straight up, like, we're not best friends. So I'd rather give it to somebody else and not have to worry about it. And it gives me more time. So I'm buying my time. I'm buying not being stressed. So it's worth it for me.
Yeah, and again, I know there's a lot of information, and I know that a lot of this is very scary or daunting, but just for reference, like I worked with a few different businesses, some of them making several $100,000 a year, and some of them making a few $1,000s a year, and across the board, everybody has trouble with the like legitimate bookkeeping aspect of it. So don't be discouraged, don't be ashamed, like we all struggle with it, even with our own personal stuff outside of a business, right? So just try your best. You don't want to get behind, but know that it does happen a lot. It happens to so many people, even super like successful people get behind on their bookkeeping. It's okay. Let's just try not to get too far behind. If you have the means to hire someone, do so. And then if you don't, again, ask for help. Ask for help. Always.
Also, remember that you're always representing your business. So look presentable online and in person. It does make a difference. It shouldn't, but it does. It really does. So, whatever it is, and it also helps you feel better, more confident too, right? Like when you're mentally prepare yourself and also physically, it's like, okay, I'm ready to make these sales. I'm ready to connect with people. So remember, people are always looking, especially now with social media. So to take that extra effort to, polish up, maybe put a little bit of hairspray, whatever it is that you need, some deodorant. Please do put some deodorant.
Yes. Yeah, we're not saying you need to look like a debutante or like the world's most beautiful person. We're just saying make sure to brush your hair, wear like a nice clean outfit. Something that you feel good in will make you look good, right? And that's going to be like, ooh, like that person's wearing a cute outfit. I'm going to go see what they have because maybe like the outfit translates to your style, it translates to your brand, right? So, I mean, it's always going to be super visual. And again, now that we're completely online or almost entirely online, it's important, right? Hot mess. Even if you feel like a hot mess on the inside, again, I promise you, we are hot messes ourselves most of the time. But then when we're in such lovely rooms as this, we pull it together, and, it looks a lot cleaner, it looks a lot nicer, and, it's just better. Just try your best.
My friends that I usually, we've been together know that I always bring 2 sets of clothes, my loading and unloading and setting up, and then when I'm selling, right? So I try to wear my brand colors are a lot of pastel and pink. So, I try to kind of match up with that, and it does help.
Yeah.
And it's fun too.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Have fun with yourself, have fun with your brand, have fun with your events, online or in person, Make it somewhere you want to be.
So I think that's it for our tips.
Yeah, and again, we focus these mostly for online since that's what we have going on right now in of a global health crisis. Obviously, there's much more to do and say, but some frequent things that we feel like a lot of people could use the information for our very digital world at the moment.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Those are amazing tips, I think, for anyone starting out or who already has a business and just wants to like level up, right? It's really cool. I think the media kit was probably my favorite. I never would have thought of that. So that's really nice to have everything in one place. It's really good. Really good tip.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the end of our presentation. I think we have just a couple minutes for a few questions. So we'll do our best to answer some, if not most of these, but if not, if there's anything really glaring, we can add it in an email later to all the participants. So the very first question we had was how do you be a part of a Mujeres Market?
So we tell our interested small business and creatives that to visit our Instagram page regularly because we're always posting when our applications are up. So, for instance, we're going to have our next Mujeres Market going to be in December. The applications are not up yet, but as soon as they are, Instagram will tell you. And so we usually add the link directly in our website and in our link tree.
Yeah, we're pretty good about posting when we're playing.
So I guess for somebody who might have a lot of interests or passions and wants to decide which one they want to develop into a business, do you have any tips on how to decide how to, like, I guess maybe focus for someone with multiple creative passions?
So I think it's getting familiar with your body of work. What is your, that's very different. So for me, my body of work has always been that of empowering women of color. So that's my driving force in my team. And so for me is, with Nalgona Positivity Pride, it is a multifaceted organization, but again, it's grounded on my body of work of helping primarily Black, Indigenous women of color, right, through body image and eating disorder awareness and, cultural roots. And so I think it's balancing that, because with Nalgona Positivity Pride, I do public speaking. I have an online store. We have an eating disorder support group. I'm working on a book right now. So, there's different things, but the body of work is what keeps everything kind of more neat. So I would say discover what that is, and you could do multiple things, but it's easier when there's one core vision and force. So I don't know if that helps answer that question, but that's the way that I've been able to manage all my interests.
And
like Maria said, is what brings you passion? One of the goals to do that, it's going to, of course, for you. Start there, and then you can slowly branch out to develop your other ideas. But start with what brings you passion.
And then a few social media questions. How do you get followers or customers outside of maybe friends and family? Like, how do you branch out to the next step?
I feel like it's really, you have to put yourself out there. Really stop, being shy about it. Put yourself out there, let people know. Find out where your markets are at. I know right now there aren't a lot of in-person ones, but virtually, find other folks that do similar work as you, and see what they're doing, how they're doing social media, because that can help you using hashtags as well. And just going to entrepreneurial events and programs. A lot of them are now virtually, and that's another place you can meet people and network.
A lot of the stuff that we discussed earlier is definitely going to do with like your, but don't forget that followers alone are not sufficient. You really need to up your engagement, at least on Instagram. I think that works on Facebook as well, which is to make sure that not just that there's a high amount of people, but that people are regularly clicking, sharing, commenting, saving, stuff like that, right? They're actually engaging with you online. It's also going to
I would also say start doing more videos of explaining your products. Videos bring a lot of engagement. So maybe it could be like how you created, if you're making handmade items, maybe you want to, those videos that go really fast to show the progression of creating something, or maybe make a video of what inspired you to make that design, what's the story behind it. TikTok right now makes it very easy to create these awesome videos. Take advantage of that.
And I guess we are a little bit over time, but if one more question. I guess what change has come about from being your own business owner versus only working, like maybe working for somebody else in the past?
Obviously it's independence, but I think it's creating your boundaries with work. For instance, I mainly work from home. Like my mini warehouse is right in front of me. So I think early on you have to set those boundaries of when it is that you officially clock out and you clock in. And I will tell you, I've been really bad at that up until more recently because I had to. And just figuring out what boundaries work best for you. And once you start seeing the results, you want to keep up with that. So I would say that's one of the biggest transitions. Also, managing your healthcare. Are you going to pay out of pocket? Are you going to be able to qualify for Medi-Cal? So that's been another big one, transitioning from a 9-to-5 to yourself. But what I like about me now working on my own for like the past 3-4 years is like I get to stay creative, and I get to, for the most part, make my own schedule. And so I don't have to waste a lot of money on gas anymore, like I don't have to, drive to the office. I could once in a while take a early nap. You can't really do that in an office job, unless you're sneaky, but so yeah.
Okay, great. I think I know we're a little bit over, so thank you so much for speaking with us. I just wanted to mention before we leave that that we have a ton of resources for business owners at LA County Library. If you go to lacountylibrary.org/business, it is our website, which has tons of resources for small businesses, including research on other businesses in your region, so you can see what's available, what's very popular, what isn't, or SCORE, which is a nonprofit dedicated to helping small businesses get off the ground and grow and achieve your goals, and they offer mentorship as well. So SCORE is a really amazing resource. Some folks had questions, more like logistical questions about shipping and different online platforms. For those of you that might have missed the beginning, we did have another presentation last week that kind of went through a lot of that information. So we're going to send everybody the YouTube link to that so you can watch and get a lot of kind of information about permits and licensing and taxes and shipping and all that stuff from the Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. And we also have a ton of online learning. So if you have a library card, you can also take online courses with lynda.com, which has courses about how to take great iPhone photos or edit them for free, or how to do social media marketing. So we have a lot of great resources for businesses. Please visit our website. We'll email everybody all this information as well, so you have the links. Thank you so much for Gloria and Monica for joining us today. We hope everyone enjoyed the program. If you're interested in more upcoming virtual programs, please visit us at lacountylibrary.org. I think that's it. If anybody else has any other thing to say.
Just two things. One, there's no way that either Algona Festivity Pride or Mujeres Market would be possible today without LA County Libraries and Orange County Libraries for Gloria. And again, ask for help. The library is basically the best starting point for asking for help. It's not just a book, not just a building full of books. There's so much more there. So please, please, please visit all of the links that Caroline has for you.
Thank you, everyone.